Yeah, look, I mean, the Chiefs are resting a bunch of their starters and Seth's not here. You could put the pieces together. I don't know what that makes me or Nate Taylor, but one of the two of us is probably going to have to worry about putting consistent behavior on tape. We'll figure it out. Seth's in Florida. Patrick Mahomes is sitting. It's week 18.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
The comment section has already been all over everything that's happening here in this edition of Only Weird Games. Seth resting the starters. He's out. Guys, they're just a tick off. Tell Nate to make his bed some other time.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Seth is Eric Bieniemy.
All season. My goodness.
This ride is broken now. All these years that we blamed him. So, there's a lot going on in the comment section where you can watch the show live. I should mention this for the audio listeners who I've not forgotten about. But if you want to watch the show either live or you can watch it back after the fact, you can do that across the KC Sports Network socials or, of course, listening via the podcast. It's how we started. It was the first love. And I still love the audio listeners very much.
Yes.
I'm sorry that we've had so many visual gags in an audio medium. That's kind of my bread and butter, and Seth has no self-control. Nate, of course, knows better. I'm Joshua Brisco. That's Nate Taylor. We are here for a weird week, Nate. It's been weird already. It's going to get weirder from here, I imagine. How are you enjoying a restful week 18, so to speak?
My day has not been restful.
I bet not.
I wish, we saw let's just describe it. We saw a picture today from our dear friend Seth in what appears to be sunny Florida. I mean, there was clothing.
Yeah. I believe long pants while we're at. I'll double check.
But it was as close as we're going to get to swimsuit edition Seth Kaiser. I mean, the pose was right up there with any supermodel you want to put together. That's right. Look at that.
He's also tweeted it out at Real MN Chiefs fan. If you're the aforementioned audio folks that need to see the evidence,
I mean,
it
look
should be
at
used
that.
in some court of law. That is a beautiful pose. Oh, his toes are out and everything. He's wearing a short sleeve sort of Hawaiian button up, some flip flops with his toes out, and some nice crisp denim jeans.
Yeah. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I am working hard for you. Although I don't work for Fox 4 in Kansas City.
They're not working hard for you. They're just working for you. They don't even claim to
Oh,
work
for
hard.
real? They don't even say hard?
I think that's right?
Dang. Well, I'm working hard for you guys. I'm going above the usual motto. Can I just explain something, Josh?
Please, always.
Writing's really hard.
That's why I talk.
It's incredibly hard, and I'm just being reminded that writing is hard. Hopefully by the time you're hearing this in podcast form, if it's Friday morning, great. Hopefully that story will be in The Athletic. Comedians talk a lot, Josh, about bombing and the fact that you need to go through it or to be heckled or to be booed. Yeah. Shout out to Cat Williams if you've been on the internet lately. But as a writer, sometimes you just got to grind through it, Yes, for Seth's toes.
Bro Fat has done a super chat, not for $3 and not for $2.50.
$2.69.
$2.69 for Seth's toes. Thank you, Bro Fat.
Yeah. So,
you're bombing right now as a writer, is where we were at before Seth's toes so rudely interrupted us.
Close to it. I mean, it's it's going to be hopefully worthwhile. It's been something that I think is not only interesting, but like something that I don't think people will expect tomorrow. But this is sort of the correct timing for it, just because we are in a unusual week. There are people in the Chiefs facility just shrugging, like we are contractually obligated to play a game that is meaningless for us, just as it's meaningless for them. But hey, Los Angeles in January. So don't expect anything tomorrow. Just hopefully you'll understand the rigors of what I had to go through, because yeah, sometimes writing's really hard. That's partly the reason why the show was a little bit later than usual from a live stream standpoint, because I still gotta like finish it. But yeah, I guess I'm ready to talk Chiefs Chargers and all the interesting things within the meaninglessness of this week.
Let's embrace the meaninglessness, because I want to get to some of the injuries. I'm putting those in air quotes. Some of them seem real,
Sure.
some of them aren't, some of them might be, which is
Okay.
the most curious ones. But also, real quick off the top, I think we can probably handle this pretty quickly. But 5 Chiefs were named 2024 Pro Bowl games starters: Creed Humphrey, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Tooney. The name that was not mentioned there was L'Jarius Sneed, who is an alternate amongst Trey Smith, Isaiah Pacheco, Willie Gay, and Nick Bolton. All alternates, the first 5 all starters. Jalen Ramsey is a starter and played, I think, 9 games so far this year. Matt Derrick had the best tweet on this that I had seen. I'm just going to...
Can I just...
I'll just
okay,
let...
let Matt say it, and then I'll say it.
Here's what Matt said. Somebody asked, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. Somebody said, what does L'Jarius Sneed have to do to make the Pro Bowl? And Matt said, be named Jalen Ramsey.
Ah! Okay, I hadn't seen that tweet either. Jalen Ramsey's not good this year. Can I just say that out loud?
And he missed a bunch of time, which is something that happens, but it usually keeps you from being a Pro Bowler.
He's been very average as a starter. Did he cover anybody last week for the Baltimore Ravens? Anybody?
It's all silly. It's all in meaningless
Right.
territory. And of course, L'Jarius Sneed would be a deserving Pro Bowler, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's your actual take on it? How do you splice that up, and what, however amount you care, however much you think we should care?
I care because there are like incentives. Jalen Ramsey's gonna shut down MVS. My goodness. It's not saying much. Dang it, why did I say that out loud? Anyway,
no one made you say that. I don't even
no one made me say that. At least not this year. It sounds like something to clamor over. My thing is with my take is the Pro Bowl every year gets less and less important. All pro is what matters. Yeah. And a lot of former players have said that, most notably Mitchell Schwartz.
Understandably, that would be his take. It's a miracle he's not an absolute lunatic. I would be so mad.
So I don't necessarily get like my panties in a bunch about the Pro Bowl. L'Jarius, there used to be a time, kids, where you needed the Pro Bowl to sort of certify yourself if you were going to free agency. Kids, that's no longer the case anymore. Teams know how good L'Jarius Sneed is. So even in like a contract year where you could say like narratively it matters, it really doesn't. Now it's nice you get a trip to Las Vegas. Is it in Las Vegas this year because the Super Bowl's in Las Vegas?
I think it's in like Orlando or something. I think it's weird. I know. Okay. I think it's a weird one this year.
Scratch that. You get to go to Orlando where there are screaming kids all the time. $365 a year. God bless the people that live in Orlando. Yeah,
it is in Orlando. They're having it in Orlando with the Super Bowl in Vegas. It's kind of weird.
I guess you get to go to Orlando. But anyway, like, it's nice. You get to, gallivant with your peers for some time and have some fun. But like, it don't really mean much. It could mean something if it's in your contract, but outside of that, like, it's you want to tell me? You want me to tell you who shouldn't also be at the Pro Bowl? That also might be fun. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let me.
Oh man, who shouldn't be in the Pro Bowl?
Let me go through this email one more time. because I looked at it last night and I said, "Oh yeah, this thing don't matter no more." I mean, it matters, but it don't. You want to tell me who the tight ends are? It's okay.
The AFC tight ends are Travis Kelce and David Njoku.
That's fine.
The NFC tight ends are George Kittle and Sam Laporta.
Let's move on, Josh. I don't need to
Whoa!
I don't need to say what I want to say. Now I'll tell you who's hot in the streets right now. Sam Laporta is so good.
So hot right
So
now.
good.
So
So good.
Can't believe you think George Kittle's washed.
I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying, like, he don't have to be a Pro Bowler on that team. We all know he has Pro Bowl talent.
Look, Tua's the starter on the AFC quarterback side, so like it's all my actual take is that it's all Calvin Ball. Like it's just none of it. It's all vibes. It's
You know what I'm
honestly
saying? Like, come
this
on.
is
Like, he
this
doesn't
is-
need to be on there, guys.
This is great for like sports argument TV and bad for human beings and the sport, but like I think we actually get more juice out of the quote unquote snubs than we do out of the guys who make it.
Yes.
And so that we will talk
Jimmy
significantly more
Graham.
about L'Jarius Sneed than any of the rest of the guys who did actually make it. What was the comment?
Okay, I'm doing like 1,000 things at once, kids.
All right, you want to answer this question from Eric Cohn
Sure.
from the
Sure.
with the super chat of I like if people want to keep super chatting things with some amount of dollars and then 69 cents, I think that'll especially make Seth uncomfortable. So don't forget to do that when he's back. I'm not trying to extort your money. I need to figure out what the super chats go to because I'm happy to like, hey, it's a good whatever. I just don't know.
Yes.
But 69 cents is hilarious. Eric has asked, and maybe this is Chris Jones's burner. I don't know. He said, were there any shark sightings in KCMO this week? I don't even know if we talked about the fact that the Seahawks brought back Frank Clark and then cut Frank Clark again.
Not that I can tell. No, I have, I know what Chris said on Twitter, because I'm sane enough to still call it Twitter. I haven't heard any rumblings involving Frank Clark.
There's no shark. There is a bug now. Well, actually, multiple bugs. As the Chiefs signed Isaiah Buggs to the practice squad like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So they added a defensive line player to the practice squad. That'll be league changing. So let's talk about some of the guys whose names we know who may not play this week but are relevant, generally speaking.
Sure.
The biggest question that I have is I wonder if it's the biggest question you have as well, which is that now officially a limited participant both practices with a neck. Gonna find out how real you think this is. But Travis Kelce's been limited with a neck injury both days so far. He's 16 yards away. We talked about this last week, or on Monday, I should say. And he needs 16 yards to hit 1,000 for the 8th consecutive time. A little bit short right now. And what do you expect for Travis Kelce in particular here?
Can I just remind people that Budda Baker has done what this year? See, I'm getting upset.
I saw Jordan in the stat. Oh, Bobby Wagner helping lead the tackles equal elite charge. Since Redacted hasn't played a ton. I don't know what you mean about Redacted, Jordan. I heard everybody in Chiefs pressers today said everything's the exact rotation it should be.
I mean, I saw people screaming, why is Budda Baker on the Pro Bowl? And I'm asking myself that right now. Shout out to Julian Love. I haven't watched him enough, but I'm sure it's fine.
Did Budda Baker almost get cut earlier in the year? Did I make that up?
I don't know. This is nonsense. Yes, Chris Jones's groin is going to be okay. You don't have to worry about that. When it comes to Travis Kelce's neck, I mean, he's played in every game, obviously since coming back from the knee injury. So this is my best summation of what I've heard and what I've observed, and the fact that Andy Reid yesterday was like, I'm sorry, did you ask me about who? Travis Kelce, who? I don't know who that is. Huh? Is he going to play? I don't know. What?
We got a football game? Why? What's Travis need?
Somebody say oil? Oil. I thought you was cooking something. Huh? What? Why would you want to ask me about Travis Kelce? I don't know. Who is that? Huh?
Never heard of him. Who's that guy? Jason's brother? Jason's brother.
Wow. What I've surmised in all of this is they're probably going to give it up to Travis Kelce. He's probably going to say he wants to play. They're probably going to let him play. And here's the opening script. Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Travis Kelce.
Correct.
Travis Kelce. Does he have 16 yards left? Does he have 16 yards yet?
I don't care if it's 2 yards at a time, 8 targets. I'd rather not have to get hit too much.
We pull,
so to the sideline, ideally.
Can we pull? Okay, he's got it. Let me look at the scoreboard. What does it say on your Microsoft tablet? Okay, pull him. That would be, again, what I've sort of taken in from everything so far. And I understand it. You know, I know I said on the last episode that I wouldn't do it. Again, that's me personally. I wouldn't do it if you're on the injury report and you're trying to be back-to-back champs. And if I can eliminate the slim possibility of you getting hurt in, again, a meaningless game versus playing a violent sport at the highest level in the playoffs, then I would choose to sit you down. I know that there are some people that say, well, what about Chris, Nate, and his incentives? I believe he can earn a little bit more than $1 million if he gets half a sack of Easton Sick. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to be willing to pay that out on their own volition, or if they're going to give Chris the opportunity. Again, Nate Taylor, would sit him down because you're not even practicing this week.
Right, he's been a DNP both times this week so far.
Yeah, you haven't even practiced. So if you want to go out there and try it, by all means, do your thing. That's their prerogative. But they also have to look past this moment for what really matters, which is obviously trying to advance in the playoffs. So I think Travis Kelce will play. Again, that's my best guess right now. I'm not sure about Chris Jones, but the Chiefs may leave it up to him. And you know, I mean, what jumps out to me that is of actual importance, Josh, and I wonder how you feel about this, is what happens with Donovan Smith now?
Yeah, he's like my second on my list of the actual guys that may actually be hurt that I'm worried about. I'll save my big one. What's your Donovan Smith feel? He was a full participant on Wednesday and a non-participant today,
which I think is interesting. Is that we'll get to talk to Andy Reid tomorrow. So the question then becomes, is that he did enough so that you could clear him for next week? Okay, like, you did good. The stinger's okay. We don't need to like overwork it. So let's just keep, sort of rehabbing it. Or did something happen and it is an actual setback, and that puts his chances to be available as the left tackle. Obviously, we've all seen what Wanya Morris has done over the last month. Is he not going to be a part of the equation on Super Wild Card Weekend? So that's something that I've sort of monitored. I know Isaiah Pacheco, was a limited participant today. As I've said before, if you are limited at practice, it could either mean you did 1 rep or you did 1 rep less than what you would normally do at practice. That is a gigantic range because, we can't see practice. So it's up to, so limited can mean a lot of different things. So who knows? Isaiah Pacheco maybe took a couple repetitions just to, be in the groove, or he took everything except for like 1 or 2. Just because obviously we understand that his shoulder, now he has a quad injury, can limit him. So there's a lot of things to consider with all that. But I think Donovan Smith's important. Who do you think is most important here, Josh?
I just want to know what you think is going on with Rashee Rice, because he and Travis Kelce, along with Patrick Mahomes, are the 3 offensive players who, if they are mysteriously unavailable for the wild card game, I am completely completely tanking my own attempts to pick the Chiefs. Like there's just I would not even try to twist myself into a pretzel to pick the Chiefs to win if they're missing Kelce, obviously Mahomes, or I think Rashee Rice. So Rashee Rice has not practiced this week. Andy Reid said it's a hamstring. I think he said it popped up during the game, and I think he finished the game out of that. He's also one of the guys who I thought, and my concern for his health probably indicates that what I'm about to say is not true, but I thought there was a chance they'd just have him out there on Sunday to do some of the things that maybe he doesn't do as often, that they want to get some like live repetitions against. But he's valuable enough that I wasn't going to bet on that.
Right.
Certainly those extra preseason reps are not worth stretching his aggravated hamstring the week before a playoff game. I'm perfectly happy for him not to play here, but what is the level of seriousness that you have figured out in terms of what they're thinking with Rashee Rice?
No need to push it. And it'll probably stay that way. It's a good sign that he finished the game, right? That he didn't come out. We haven't been able to talk to Rashee. We don't know necessarily when the injury occurred, if it's a first half thing or a second half thing or a particular play. It's kind of hard to see on film, to be honest with you, Josh, at least for me. But if this is it's so tough because it's hard to not know, but like you could look at this and just say full bye week, stop. But the Chiefs are not one of these teams that just say so-and-so didn't practice, rest. So Rashee Rice has a hamstring injury. I don't consider it significant, but it probably removes him from, as you were saying, trying to showcase a little bit more routes, or if we want to just get him out there in terms of the timing. I think there's a value in like Blaine Gabbert playing. Of course, I don't need to remind Chiefs fans what happened in the postseason last year where Chad Henne had to come in cold at the 2-yard line. So if something were to happen, even for a brief period, it would be beneficial to have Blaine Gabbert throwing to Rashee Rice in a game-like setting, even if it's against the Chargers in a meaningless game. But based on his injury, I don't know if there's much value to that because, as you said, they need him as healthy as possible. And I'm sure he's getting a lot of treatment this week, but they obviously need him to be healthy as possible next week. Depending upon, we don't know who the opponent is, but we'll know that they'll play a home game in Arrowhead for Wild Card Weekend. So I hope that helps, but we should get more information from Andy Reid tomorrow. And I would just tell Chiefs fans right now, I don't expect him to be in uniform because I just don't think it weighs the negatives.
I would fully agree with that too. Even as on Monday, I was like, hey, Rashee Rice getting 100% of the snaps out there, running around with Blaine Gabbert could be fun. Not nearly as unfun as it would be for him not to be out there in a playoff game.
Right. And Andy Reid usually doesn't give rookies the last week of the season off if they have secured their playoff spot or they can't move up and down, right? I remember in 2020, a lot of the rookies played, even if they made, significant contributions to the regular season. So had Rashee Rice been healthy, he probably would have been on the field to some capacity. But now that, that gives more opportunities for, I think, Justin Ross extensively, because that's who Blaine Gabbert sort of shouted out yesterday. And so what you would have normally seen from Rashee Rice, I think, is going to be given to Justin Ross because he also hasn't had a lot of time to sort of get back in rhythm once he came back from, his unusual suspension.
Well, and so that's something that when Gabbert talked yesterday, I thought was fascinating. It was the next thing I wanted to stick with the receivers for one more little meaningless week segment of receiver talk because of exactly that. So Gabbert says yesterday doing the presser because I believe he walked up to the podium and said, I don't know if coach told you, but I'm starting this week. The starting quarterback talks on Wednesdays. And so this week was
incredible.
Great vibes from Blaine Gabbert. Really seems like honestly, he seems like what that quarterback room probably needs just in a season that's been tough. Having Blaine Gabbert there feels good. But he said that McCole, Ross, and KT were going to get a lot of reps.
Yes.
So first, the guy that I'm guessing we won't see actually is, I heard that and I was like, hey, first of all, kind of mysterious that Kadarius Toney would not practice for 2 weeks, would not play for 2 weeks, and then Blaine Gabbert would say, "This mother bleeper is back." Like he is playing.
What you getting at, baby?
Nothing. Nothing. But then he was a limited participant in practice yesterday and did not practice today. So now I'm back to fully just not knowing what's going on. I don't know if the Chiefs do either. We've talked many times about just like get Kadarius Toney to the playoffs and then try to unleash him. They've unleashed him. He's bitten them. So I don't. You tell me what you think we should all know about the Toney side. And I think Ross and Hardman are the two guys that have more interesting stuff to talk about.
I did see Kadarius Toney today. That was before practice. Of course, we were told that he probably wasn't going to participate in practice. Again, it's hard to say whether that's, hey, showed something nice, let's taper him down, or are you feeling okay? Let's give him an extra day, see if he can bounce back on Friday. I just want to remind the audience that we really did say, guys, that like, hey, if he's not right week 1, which he tried, guys, it's the most honorable thing Kadarius Toney did was come back from a knee injury, no preseason games, to just be like, I'll be the number 1 receiver today. It's the most honorable thing he did. And then we all said, well, just, hey, baby him till the playoffs. Give him baby steps. Feed him, mush and carrots, peas. Don't give him anything. Just baby feed him. And then when they played in Germany, me and Seth were like, take the diapers off.
That's right.
Take the diapers off. Did you see him break 17 tackles on one slant? Take the diapers off. Now we back to, man, we really should have just saved him for the playoffs.
If he would have taken one baby step backwards, the Buffalo Bills would not be in the playoffs.
Right.
And I think Jesse Newell mentioned this on 810 this morning, and I didn't hear it until Jason mentioned it. Here's something so passing this along. I believe this was Jesse's original point. Maybe you guys talked about it in the meeting at some point. Nate,
I'm sure we have. Yep.
But brother, it is devastating to realize that if Kadarius Toney lined up on sides, not only would the Chiefs have won that game and the Bills would be out of the playoffs, Travis Kelce would have 1,000 freaking receiving yards.
Yeah, we talked about that.
God, yeah. That sucks.
Shout out to Jesse.
Sucks.
Shout out. I think we first talked about it post game Sunday. They beat the Bengals. We're looking at the stats and we're like, all right, so if they win, they're in the, we're all going back like they're the 3 seed, right? They're the 3 seed. Like, and fans in the little tunnel area were like, can they go up? Can they go up to the 2 seed? And we're like, no, they're the 3 seed. And so we're looking at the box score and you're like, okay. And then you're right. So add that to his season total.
It's so frustrating. It's so brutal.
And then Jesse goes, wasn't it a 24-yard reception and a 25-yard lateral? Yikes. So yeah, Jesse Newell from the KC Start is absolutely correct. It was a guttural reaction when I heard it on Sunday, and it remains to be the case on Thursday. Because Travis Kelce's probably going to be out there when he doesn't need to be out there, so that he can maintain his 1,000-yard streak, which again is mind-blowing compared to any other tight end in the league. To which I would say, maybe you don't need to do it. Maybe you don't need it. You're so outpacing Gronk on this. You're good, man. You're good. Just get healthy. Just get right. But no, he got to be out there because Kadarius Toney was in the neutral zone.
But and we don't know why that hits me so hard.
And we don't know if Kadarius Toney gonna be out there when he trying to get right for the playoffs too.
God, so sad. Real quick housekeeping, because Christian mentioned this earlier in the chat. I thought this was the case, but I didn't want to say it and be wrong. Where Christian noted that the super chats during the live video go to the KCSN Foundation, which is great, which makes me even more willing to just completely just sell it out. And I don't know, we might have to put in a system at some point. I don't know, but I mean, it's going to a good cause, and none of us three bozos, which is both of those are all good things.
No, I don't need. I don't need this money. No,
it's fine. It's good.
No.
So I'm
Seth does, but I don't. Seth does,
exactly.
but
exactly.
I don't. Yeah.
And Seth has a newsletter. He can change the price for whenever he wants. But shout out to Raphael, who said, my favorite KCSN pod and YouTube show I listen to. Awesome job, guys. Even you, Josh.
Thank
you, Raphael. They say they also miss almost entirely sports. So now I know that's out of love.
Hey,
I do. If you were there for that, you were there for some things.
It's in the Raptors, kids. It's never coming down. Okay, it's never coming down.
Despite the fact that we're trying to yank it.
So, Angry Drunken German, shout out, says Tony should only be on kick punts at this point. To which I say, Josh, no. Logically, Angry Drunken German is correct. In this point in time, no, because Richie James said, I don't care where the punt was. I'm taking it out. It could be in row 15. It could be in the parking lot. It could be in front of my driveway. Damn it, Dave Toe called it, and I gots to take it out. Gots to do it. You caught it in the end zone. And Richie James looked at us like we were crazy today. Love Richie James.
Oh,
God, I love Richie James. Yes, we talked to Richie James today because we also got Dave Toe. I know this is a completely different tangent.
No, this is good. I was ready to shift into a different tangent.
Thank you, Angry Drunken German. Yes, we all saw the punt return in the Super Bowl. Magnificent. Somehow Kadarius Toney had one of his best games on a field where the Eagles are probably still complaining. With that said, also
they broke their defense in 2023. It was so bad.
Yeah, and also he had amazing punt returns in the rematch in November when they played the Eagles in Arrowhead. Richie James said, hey man, I'm having a hard time getting routes. So when Dave says take it out, I'm taking it today. I'm taking it out. He essentially said that, like, hey, I'm trying to get more routes. I'm trying to get more time. I want to get more receptions, more targets with Mahomes. I mean, his locker's right next to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, if you want to read into that, whatever that is. This is the season, Josh, where we say, hey, dog, you got to use them. To next week, nope, you ain't got to use him. Actually, you should use him less. And Richie James is like, can I get more snaps, please? Can I get more snaps? Because I'm doing the unthinkable on punt returns because I'm not getting enough snaps. I would like to catch the ball from Patrick Mahomes. So Dave Tope is like, sure, man, try to be aggressive, try to flip the field, change the game, be the spark the team needs. Damn it, he punted it in the end zone. You know what? I don't know if I'm gonna get the ball on this possession anyway. Let's ride. Like he's in Fast and Furious. They're gone in 60 seconds. This man said, I don't care where it was. I was taking it out.
This is the season that is changing me in ways I don't like, because I have at no point ever wanted to be like the angry old man on the radio who's just yelling about, just players being too young or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? And I've never wanted that at all. I talk about like NFL Street and the power of that video game all the time because like it really is foundational to how I like enjoy the most fun parts of football. I think football is its best when it's fun. I think NFL players are at their best when they're fun. But I did this with the Jerick McKinnon tossing the ball to Rashee Rice, and I'm doing it here also. Where it's like, Richie James took accountability for that. Jerick McKinnon threw it to Rashee Rice because he wanted a passing touchdown, and Rice needed to get another receiving touchdown for the rookie record.
Correct.
This isn't the year for that. I'm sorry, guys. Run the play. Run the play like you practiced it. And if your feet are in the end zone, call a fair catch and catch it, or step out of the end zone and let it fall behind you. This is not the year for freewheeling. Like Travis Kelce lateraling it to Kadarius Toney 40 yards or whatever it ended up being. That At least that's Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has earned that. Kadarius Toney obviously hasn't because he had bleeped up the play from the beginning. But like I feel like I am 1,000 years old. I feel like I am talking about leather helmets and like run the football and run the play like it's meant to be called. Because this year is not the year for just kind of flinging it around and checking on the vibes. The vibes this year suck. I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's a perfect point. Incredible.
Also, a perfect point. Super chat from Andrew Lee. If they do a KCSN swimsuit issue, can we get the cover shoot of Nate and Josh? Yes.
If the funny thing is we would be fully clothed. That would be the twist to the KCSN swimsuit. Gentlemen fully clothed in bathing suit supermodel poses. That would be where we would that's what we would do, but in like unusual circumstances and surroundings, like not on the beach.
I think this is a great idea, and also I'm just saying, I think if you gave me time, if I really have some time to prepare, I can do the most important thing that I could do in terms of getting my body right for this circumstance, which I think is like I'd shave KCSN into my chest hair. I think I could do that.
Oh,
I could carve.
You got enough taco meat for that?
It is a Mexican dinner situation if it just sort of rides. It's just the genes I got, and the best I can do is just shave it into the logo.
Yeah. I also love too that people, Richard fans said Richie James yelling "Familia" before it's for my family. And Nate Dogg saying Richie James has entered Deion Waiters territory, which I tend to agree, man. I don't care where the shot clock is. I'm shooting, dog, shooting. You know who gets buckets? Me. But you have Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Mott, and I get
me
buckets.
Get buckets.
You know what the ladies care about? This ball going through the hoop with me. So the beautiful part in all of this, and I mean, look, this is where I'm a professional, guys. I'm a professional journalist. I'm in the locker room trying to grit and grind for you guys. And I asked Richie James, what's it like to play with Patrick Mahomes? And you're going to read that in The Athletic soon, because he gave some, I think, some real riveting answers as well. But I also had to withhold the laughter in my body before I could get to my questions about, hey, what's it like playing with Patrick Mahomes, particularly in this season, and what you've learned about your quarterback based on what you thought in free agency and training camp versus what is actually taking place. Okay, I'm going to act like this man just didn't say that if they would have kicked it in the Community America Club, he wasn't going to take it out. What? I love Richie James because you know what? I love honesty. I love swagger. I love personality. But Richie, that can't be what happened. Then we immediately talked to Dave Tobe, and he was like, "Yeah, I told him to do his thing." No, coach.
No, you no. That's not right.
and then I don't know if you heard Josh, but I think it was Sarin Petro. Sarin was like, so is there like the 10-yard rule, the 5-yard rule? He's like, man, these punters so good now, they don't even matter anymore. And we're like, but Tobe, like there's a reason cliches are cliches, because
yes,
there is some meaning to it. There is some there is something to hold in the cliche because it could get you out of trouble. But he was just like, man, these punters are so good. They can backspin that thing. You never know what's going to happen. I just told Richie, hey, baby, do you get us a spark? And guess what, guys? Super wild card weekend. Richie James is going to be back there. And you and I both know it don't matter where this punt lands. If it ain't out of bounds, we taking it out, okay? No fair catches. Like, who gives a hell about a fair catch? I'm trying a ball.
It's just stupid.
Thank you guys for listening to this show. This is the news that you didn't need, but yet here we are.
No, I'm just beside myself because I heard all the live pressers today, and I did not know that Richie James had that path. Tell me this, Nate, before we talk about the other things from pressers today. Who's the worst quote? Who's the worst quote in the Chiefs locker room this season? Who's really let you down? Who do you really not enjoy your time with?
Why are you trying to hate? Why are you trying to get me in trouble?
No, you're good. Let's take a break.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What if I told
that was
you
a non-mean-spirited break? I just thought if I felt like I could scare you and then break, as opposed to pulling the football out from in front of you this time.
Oh God, what a great comment. Richie James across the Spider-Verse. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And he just zaps. He just zaps defenders away from me. Oh, what a time. One of the greatest movies I've ever seen is
I still haven't seen the sequel.
You still haven't seen Across the Spider-Universe?
No, I haven't.
From the Spider-Verse? Oh my God.
First one was amazing.
The first one's amazing, and somehow they made the second one better. How?
It's the best.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing. No, man. What saddens me is that there have been a few times where I've walked. I mean, you asked me a question. I'm gonna be honest.
No. That was okay. That was just. I don't want you to get.
No,
in trouble.
I want to say it. I want to say it.
All right. Okay.
I mean, there's
let the record show. I did not bend Nate's will to this.
There's multiple answers, but this one will sadden both of us, guys. And if you've been here long enough, since time's ours.
Tucker says I cut out right before I hit my setup. That makes sense. It was sort of laggy on my end. All right, sorry everybody. Not only it's week 18. We're resting set, and I didn't execute the throw to break due to technical issues. So there you go. Sorry everybody. I let y'all down.
One Joshua Brisco asked me who's the worst quote in the locker room this year.
I didn't mean to ask it.
I expect more out of Noah Gray. I expect more. I expect more from the majestic white horse on a sandy beach, because we gave you that nickname and you've lived up to that nickname. Yet the quotes have not been majestic, Josh. They just haven't. Because I expected more. So it's more of a disappointment versus the worst.
Yeah, sure.
But Noah Gray's had a great year. I mean, regardless of whatever I think, he's been very good in his role. I just wish he would give more majestic quotes, because it just hasn't occurred this year.
This episode of this show is having a lot of comment reading, and I think everyone's earned it, where Richard says hooves down for Noah not bringing beach level content. That rules. And then also a comment from Keth Sizer that says, hey everyone, just wanted to check in and tell you all that Florida is great. Wanted to update you all to tell you I'm definitely not embezzling all of the super chat funds. That is from Keth Sizer, which could be anybody.
Oh, man.
Okay. All right. There are a couple things from pressers today that I thought were interesting, and we can pivot it into something vaguely resembling us caring about Chiefs Chargers. Are you going to LA for this, Nate?
I am.
Yeah, I bet you had your flights booked a long time in advance. So
yes, and I was a bit concerned that based on playoff implications, had things gone a little bit of a different way, that game could have been flexed to Saturday.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did last year. And this is one of the most non-meaningful parts, but one of the I don't want to sadden anybody, but like, we all remember the Damar Hamlin, it's a cardiac
incident
arrest?
situation.
It wasn't
cardiac arrest.
Yeah, okay, it was cardiac arrest. I'm trying to think of
It was not technically a heart attack. It would have been a cardiac arrest instead.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as factual as I can here, but one of the aftermaths of the Damar Hamlin cardiac arrest was the Bengals and the Bills not playing 17 games. So to make it as logically sound and as equitable as possible, with the Chiefs playing 17, they moved that game, which was scheduled for Sunday, to Saturday to hold the playoff implications intact. If people remember, the Chiefs had to win to earn the number 1 seed, and that thus made the Bengals and the Bills sort of cascade down. Of course, because the game wasn't played, Cincinnati, who felt wronged at the time, and you understand it, they had to be the 3 seed, which meant they had to move. They had to go to Buffalo to beat Buffalo in the divisional round before obviously coming to Kansas City. And one of the more tricky things about how everything has to go right for you to win the Super Bowl, that is one of the few footnotes the Cincinnati Bengals could have played 2 home games before traveling to Arrowhead for the championship game. Instead, they had to travel to Buffalo and travel to Kansas City, and I think that did have a cumulative effect on their postseason run. Now, yes, I had to book my travel for this. I will be there in person. There's about 4 players that I think this game means something for. Blaine Gabbert, because he doesn't know if he's going to start an NFL game anytime soon. He's obviously in the back half of his career. And look, he needs to have a dress rehearsal basically in the event something might happen in the postseason. Justin Ross, for what we mentioned earlier. Felix Anudike, how you say the last name?
Anudike Uzama.
Uzama, dang it. There's so many names, guys. This will be the most snaps he's played pretty much since like early October, and he's going to get, the full allotment of what a normal rookie would get if he's a first round pick. But obviously his circumstances have put him in a more reserve role, so he matters. I get the sense that you want to see more from Chamari Connor because he's going to play a pivotal role in the postseason. And then number 5 is, what happens with Wanye Morris, and does Darian Kennard get a real chance to show legitimate growth? Because he's been a draft pick for 2 years, but has not been asked to play or has not been required to play a majority of snaps. You know what you're going to get from Nick Allegretti, from Lucas Niang, Wanye Morris now, but we don't know what we're going to get from Darius Kennard. He should play a lot of snaps, and
I'd like to see Niang too. Just since we're on, I'd like to see does he look any different at all? Because an injury was part of his deal,
right.
And they were seeing Mike Caliendo out there. Yeah.
Yes. So, those are the guys.
I'm sorry. Is Allegretti or Caliendo going to have to play center? Probably. Caliendo can also play center, right?
Yes. Whenever they remove Creed Humphrey from the game, it can be either one of those guys. Now, Nick Allegretti might want to take that. Again, in the event something happens to Creed Humphrey in the postseason. So there's all these like scenarios where you have to play like, if this happens, we want to be mindful of that. It's a real juggling act for the coaching staff. But yeah, I mean, it's a situation where there's still plenty of guys on the 2 line to really look at and evaluate correctly.
Just a couple names you didn't mention that somebody mentioned at some point today, because we heard from the coordinators and then also several positional coaches today, including Joe Cullen and Brendan Daly and Dave Merritt. So you've got all 3 depths of the defensive room there too. Neil Farrell, we've talked about every once in a while because the Chiefs traded a 6th round pick for him before this season, and he has not played. And then B.J. Thompson was a 5th round draft pick.
Yes.
I usually have to double check because we haven't talked about him that much. And he was like on a even more obvious project pace than Felix was, just because that dude was real skinny for a Spags defensive end coming out of college. So I'm just kind of like, I'm going to be most excited to watch the defensive line, kind of regardless of who's out there, what the rotation is, because I feel like pretty much at all times we're going to be seeing a defensive lineman who has not played very much, who the Chiefs invested in to different degrees.
Yes.
He looks a 1st round pick and a 5th-year option on the table if his trajectory goes in a good direction. B.J. Thompson, 1st year of a rookie contract, that's valuable. They traded a pick for Neil Farrell, and he's not in the 1st year of his rookie deal. So
no,
that one, I've lost a lot of optimism there, because I think if they saw a chance for him to improve over Derek Nottie or Tershawn Wharton or Mike Pennell's gotten the practice squad call-ups after Matt Dickerson played a lot, who we talked about. Like I don't know what the plan is there. That one I've again lost some optimism with. But defensively, I think we're in the same spots there. Let's circle back to the receivers here real quick, because you mentioned Justin Ross again, and I said kind of the guys that Gabbert listed off. But
Yes.
Cole Hardman didn't play very much last week in his first action back. Is there? I feel like an idiot for even asking this question, because we've asked it every week, and the answer every week has been something pretty close to no since Rashee Rice really got his role figured out.
Okay.
Is there something Mecole Hardman could bring to this receiver room that is not currently there? If he looks good on Sunday, is physically good to go, Is there a role for him in a playoff game
Yes.
that would either let him upgrade over somebody, Richie James or MVS? Is there a role that he could fill that no one else is currently filling? What's your McCole Hardman take right now?
Yes, he can fulfill a role. He knows the offense. Mahomes trust him. There was a reason why he played so many snaps in his first game back against the Chargers. Again, all the way back in October after the trade. It's unfortunate that McCole has had a couple injuries. Yes, as Thomas Lester says, I mean, the jet sweep pop passes, you can definitely count on those. If you want more speed coming out of the slot on certain formations, down and distances, I think he plays a role there. One thing that the Chiefs have liked to do, and I'm not really surprised any coaching staff, but like McCole running deep overs from the slot is a very good play because the safety has to make a decision, and then usually Mahomes plays off of that, right? Sometimes they destroyed the Raiders with this last year where McCole ran a lot of deep overs and got open downfield. Now you can play off that and work certain concepts. Again, that's more in like Seth's category. But if you play the Ravens, and they want to be aggressive, McCole has a chance to really make you pay downfield on blitzes. Now, the Ravens do not blitz as much as they used to because Wink Martindale is no longer there, but they still like to blitz and get active and creative about trying to attack the quarterback from different angles. And you would think with his knowledge of the playbook, he knows hot routes, how to work in space when there is a blitz and when there's something that is unusual. So there's definitely a role for him. But yes, you would like to see him be productive in this game, move the chains a little bit, have a highlight or two with Blaine Gabbert. And then, you can feel confident that, okay, if Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not going to play his usual amount of snaps, are you going to try to truncate his role a little bit more? Yeah. That does provide opportunities for, I think, Richie James and McCole Hardman alongside Justin Watson and Rashee Rice.
I think that's the last thing from me. There are some little interesting things that I've got notes on that we can kind of file away for future conversations about Felix and some other things from the pressers today. But Brendan Daly said one thing that I'm curious if you caught.
I wasn't in there for him. I was in the locker room talking to Richie James and being entertained.
Well, we can cover both. We can cover both sides of this now. Nice. I will say this then to reemphasize something I said a few shows ago. Defensive coaching staff vibes are so good.
So good.
Did you hear the highlights of Dave Merritt?
Oh, I was in there for now.
Okay,
you know me.
Okay,
they said Dave Merritt, and I was like I gotta hear this.
Blamed his wife for the fact that they have 2 younger kids after having, I believe, 3 older kids because his wife wouldn't leave him alone.
She kept chasing me.
I mean,
incredible.
Legitimately incredible. And also, you might be able to thank Dave Merritt's wife for him not being a defensive coordinator already or for the next few years still. So
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Let me look this up. I don't know if it's on I can't remember.
Shout out to their marriage and the spark still being alive. That's why we get to keep Dave Merritt in Kansas City.
Lego. I mean, my goodness, get some marriage counseling if you need it from the Merritts. Here we go. Click on it.
I messaged Jordan during that presser and I said I would take life advice from Dave Merritt. Like I would take it from Spags or Joe Cullen or whatever also, but Dave Merritt feels wise. Yolanda.
Yolanda doing, I mean, Travarius Ward, L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, even Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Brian Cook, all of them. Just thank Yolanda because he would not be your coach. He would not be your coach.
Send Yolanda flowers.
If it wasn't for Yolanda, yes.
The best marriage since Seth and Jazz. Stupid. We gotta close our comments.
I remember. I think they showed this on the franchise last year, but who was one of the first people to shout out Juan and his bride.
Oh yeah.
Of course it was Yolanda and Dave Merritt. I mean, of course. I mean, look who Dave Merritt changed Juan Thorhill's life, and it's all because of Yolanda.
It's a beautiful thing.
Again, we don't need any more Week 18 podcasts quite like this, but you are getting information. It's just not probably the information you expected. Now, look, it's crazy that Dave Merritt played at Millbrook High School in Raleigh, North Carolina, because like I covered Millbrook High School in Raleigh, North Carolina in 2010, 2011 for the Raleigh News and Observer. But yeah, I just wanted, again, Yolanda, she kept chasing me. I mean, I don't know what Dave Merritt's got, but we need a tutorial, my friend. I'll pull up a notebook, and I also told Harold Coots and PJ Grief from Fox 4, I'm like, I'm kind of ready, right? Like, he left the podium, and I was like, I'm kind of ready to play press man coverage. I don't even care who the receiver is. I'm ready to go.
I kind of want to jam somebody at the line.
Yes,
he's got that energy.
You just want to play for him. So, Dave Merritt and Seth Geiser is the pointing Spider-Man meme. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. So, yeah, that's where we are. But what did Brendan Daly say, Josh?
So he, somebody said, are we done talking Chargers? Joke's on you. We never started talking Chargers. There's no previewing of that game, dude. But I will talk about a former
You want me
Charger.
to break down Easton Stick? Are you crazy?
Look, if the Chiefs needed this game, we would have. But they don't.
But they don't.
We're not breaking down Blaine Gabbert either, except for his vibes, which seem fantastic.
Yes.
So Brendan Daly got a couple of questions about Drew Tranquill. And at one point, he said, he's been fantastic from a versatility standpoint. He's been outstanding in his ability to learn different roles. And then he said, this is a semi-quote, semi-paraphrase. I just typing it as we go, haven't re-listened to it. But he said, there's a little bit of something different going forward that he's looking at and that he's already asking questions about. And so I don't know what it's going to be. And I'm guessing it's probably kind of like an individual sub-package kind of thing, like him playing in a certain role as opposed to like, hey, you're going to be the Mike and we're going to put Nick Bolton as the Sam or whatever.
Right.
But I thought that was interesting. And also like linebackers playing different roles is not something you're usually going to see watching the broadcast. I mean, like if you're watching for it, you can, but it's very rarely is Tony Romo going to say, oh, you've got Drew Tranquill here playing. Listen, this is different than what he's done for the last 15 weeks. But I thought it was interesting because it was really just Daly talking about the mentality of Drew Tranquill and his ability to do whatever they ask him to do, and then says to my ears there, we're also going to ask him to do something a little bit different in this playoff run. And maybe it's for a specific team or for a specific package or whatever, but he's already raring to go on that. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Sign me up. What I mean, they're giving out little nuggets. I mean,
that's the defense. The defense is giving out little nuggets. They're giving out some jokes and some life advice. I can't remember what. Oh, Brendan Daly, who seems like a serious fella and an intense guy, right? Like you see him on the sidelines, those neck veins are out. It is like one of those dinosaurs. Like you can hit he's popping. And he had a whole thing today about Willie Gay being an energy giver. He's like, he's an energy giver instead of being an energy vampire. And someone was like, tell me about energy vampires. She's like, like there are people who you work with who are energy vampires that suck the energy out of you. Someone's like, can you name some names? Like, I'm not going to do that. But there are people who are like that. And like, and again, here's my last bit. Make sure you hit the like button if you approve of Dave Merritt's marriage. Freaking rules. Good work, guys. That's excellent. I've already forgotten next, so now I'm more excited about talking about Dave Merritt. This is my press conference analysis again that I'm just doing with headphones on at the radio station. But the defensive coaches will teach, like Spag sets the tone for this.
Yes.
They want us to learn a little bit. Like the defensive coaching staff, I genuinely think says, hey, you know what? Let's give them a little nugget, and maybe the world will get a little smarter. And hey, you know what? Also, don't have every muscle in your body tensed up there. Like, you go be you, Joe Cullen, because you're an adult who's been a defensive coordinator, has been a coach for a long ass time. Just go be Joe Cullen. And it permeates everything. It is Spags, it is Cullen, it is Daly, it is Merritt. All of those guys just radiate such good energy, such good vibes, and they make me think like, man, like learning football from these guys and being in those meeting rooms. I bet it's good to be at work most days as a Chiefs defensive player. Yeah. And the offensive coaching staff has just not brought any of that energy in an incredibly long time. Even guys who've done it for a very long time, just so I'm not picking on the newbies. Andy Heck seems like a really good coach and a good guy.
We talking technique, baby.
All of that.
Technique, he perks up. He goes, what? Whoa, you want to ask me a technique question? How's he doing? How's
his
he doing?
energy's kind of in here.
He's good. He's fine. I mean, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. Like
the energy's in here. Tom Melvin is the positional coach for the greatest tight end to ever live, and you hear him talk once a year, and he's right here also. He might, and those are the older guys. That's not
right.
David Girardi or Connor Embry, or I haven't heard from Todd Pinkston in a minute. Maybe he might have been the last round. I can't remember.
I think,
but like they're newbies too.
Right. I think Pinkston and Todd Melvin are probably the funniest out of the group.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I had to lean in and go, David, I need more. David Girardi, I need more. I'm gonna ask you for an example. Look at me in the eye. You can do it.
Heard you do that. I forgot about that.
You can do it. You can tell me.
Give me an example. I wrote it down.
Coach isn't going to murk you. Okay, you can do it. Patrick already knows. It's okay. You can tell me the answer. You can tell me some truth. I'm asking real nice. Coach Andy Reid is not going to do to you what he did to Justin Reed last year. Just think about that. Tell me something honest. Give me a real substantive example that I can use for the public.
Not a route concept.
Not a route concept. A story. Something to build upon. And I should have just asked him like that. Hey, Girardi, when I ask this question, he's not going to pull you into the office like he pulled in Justin Reed, who, by the way, still gives excellent quotes. But now he knows the difference between this versus that. You need to give me one of those. That is something I can hold and my fingers can use. Give me an example, David Girardi, please. Please, for the love of God. I need to write about the quarterback all the time. You're with him all the time. Can you give me one? Sorry.
I don't think I'm going to say anything else. I thought about saying some other things. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there for me. So I'm good, Nate. Here's what I'll tell you.
I'm sure David Girardi will hear this and be like, Nate, come find me at the combine.
Sure. But you got a deadline today. So it doesn't really help. I'm not saying any of these people are bad people. I'm saying the defensive coaching staff gives great press conferences and great vibes. That's all I know. I don't know the other guys.
And they have an ability, they have some freedom to them. That is, it just is what it is. Like, I mean, we're just telling you the truth, guys.
The defense has I guess maybe both sides have trickle down vibeonomics. You have Spags at the top, and the vibes trickle down, and everybody ends up in that headspace.
And of course, they have more continuity because the front office has invested in that side of the ball. So there's a reason for that, I would say, versus some over the last 2 years. I know this might be surprising to people. There's more continuity on defense. There was more continuity on defense last year because there were so many rookies who played. And there's even more continuity now because those guys have all been playing together, and you're only adding a Drew Tranquil or a Mike Edwards. And, obviously you have the draft picks, but like there's been so much turnover on offense, both from the coaching staff and the players. And I do think that leads to, it's just going to take more time. So people complain about the defense. The front office invests in the defense. What about the offense? Well, that's the tricky part of the sport. That's why the sport is so hard, because you kind of have to get things right, but it's also kind of a whack-a-mole. And then all of a sudden the team you thought you were going to be isn't. And now that team's gotten a lot better because they were a lot better at trying to cover all their bases. I think please ask about your marriage. Please talk about your marriage, Girardi. I don't even know if David Girardi's married. I gotta look this up because he's not freely telling us that he has a lovely wife. I hope people realize mostly this is a joke, but there's kind of some reality to it. Click on his name. Yes, he does have a wife, Kristen. Shout out to Kristen. I had to look that up because you know what? He did not tell us.
Did mention it.
He did mention it. Now, again, maybe he hears it, maybe he doesn't. But look, we're doing this for an enjoyment times. We are also very vibey today because we have no Seth, who's whose vibes is just the sun.
Yes, he's so vibed out that he's not here. I mean, that's next level.
Guys, I just please talk about your marriage. It's incredible. But yeah, it would be nice if the quarterback coach gave a story about the quarterback that was relevant to this season. But
can't win them all.
It is what it is. And Matt Nagy, I think Matt Nagy gives very good quotes. It's just, you can tell he doesn't want to, he's still trying to figure this thing out because, their side of the ball has been an entire figure it out all year, even with the world's greatest quarterback.
On that note, Nate's going to have something special hitting the Athletic tomorrow morning or later tonight, perhaps.
We're going to try.
I'll check it out in the morning, Nate. I won't put any extra pressure on you. But Nate will have something hitting the Athletic tomorrow morning. And Seth, I think, is still writing about George Karlaftis from Florida. Okay. So you can check that out in the Chief of the North newsletter, mnchiefsfan.substack.com. Plus, of course, enjoy The Lab and all of the other great shows across everything here on KCSN. I imagine The Lab's still doing their live thing. I didn't ask Tucker earlier because I didn't think I was going to promote The Lab because I want to vanquish them. But as long as they're still here. Tucker says yes. So they'll be live tonight as well. You can enjoy that. Thursday Night Football is over also, so you don't have any excuses. So listen to the Live Lab and hang out with the guys. And also you can enjoy KC Sports Tonight on KCTV5 weeknights at 6:30 and then weekends at 10:35 p.m. So you can enjoy that as well. I think that's everything I got to say, Nate. So you can go ahead and get us out of here.
Okay. Maybe we should do this moving forward. Jake Dennis asked a great question that we will end on. Nate, and I'm quoting Jake here, Nate, we need a swag surf origin story. Travis did not do it justice on his podcast week, which I also heard and realized. And of course, the Chiefs put a little bit of a production thing out there. Guys, most answers come back to this when it regards most of the players. Of course, Willie Gay made the request. Josh, where did Willie Gay play college?
Would be Southern Mississippi, I believe.
Yeah.
State. Sorry, Mississippi State. I don't know why I said Southern Mississippi.
Southern Mississippi State. It's even better.
I can see the logo.
It's even better. I didn't play at Mississippi State, Coach. I played at Southern Mississippi State. Now, Josh, where's Mississippi State on the Mason-Dixie line?
South. I might have been skipping the first question so I can answer the second one.
Oh, of course. I mean, this is how this game works. Let me tell you the origin story. Them Southern boys love them some swag surf. That's the story. Okay? They love to swag, to surf to swag. Them, did you see Trent McDuffie surf swagging?
I don't know that I did.
Where he play at? Where did he play? What college did he play for?
Be Washington, which is up over there somewhere.
You think
that's up and over?
Okay, in parentheses, I'm generalizing for effect. In parentheses, you think Leo Chanel was swag surfing? Where he play at? Who he play for in college?
Played for Death Row. Where's that on there? He wrote on his hands. It's a Wisconsin Badger.
The Wisconsin Badger saw what the Nebraska Huskers were doing with the black shirts and says, "We got to go harder. We got to go harder.
We cannot be black shirts. We cannot be the second hardest group of white linebackers.
What's the hardest thing we could do? Death row, baby.
Death row.
But my point is, Willie Gay is the most energized defensive player, maybe not named Chris Jones. And yeah, when
Nate. Where'd Chris Jones go to school?
That's such a lovely thing that you just asked me, Josh. He also went to Mississippi State, and interestingly enough, that's also below the Mason-Dixie line.
It sure is.
It sure is. So, when Derek Notty's swag surfing, that's when you know where he from, what school he played for. Okay, he played below the Mason-Dixie line, of course. All right, so that's your answer, Dennis. The swag surf origin story is south, the south below the Mason-Dixie line. I hope that answers your question. And I just want to imagine Seth on Sunday not watching this game, instead baking in the sun in a fully attire beach pose.
I don't want to imagine that.